Hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, Mark, is the sound okay? You're up in the Sacramento area, so I worry about the floods down south. Hope everybody's okay. Audio and video, good, great, thank you. Well, Mark, you and I got a chance to chat for a while. So what's up? I'm pretty much up on high ground. We're on top of a ridge, so we have nothing to worry about, Corbin. How about yourself? We we went out with our grandson and son went out to lunch today, and we crossed the Connecticut River, and the Connecticut River is pretty swollen right now. But the Farmington River, we're not far, just down the street. The Farmington River is usually the big people with have a problem. I know there's a place down there. They used to have a little dock, and one year the dock got washed away. So I don't know. Haven't been there for a while. Graham, how you doing? It's evening there. Hi, Patel. How are you? Jonathan Higgins has picked up a Richard Lang Porlemert tourbillon with a fusee and chain. Do you like this piece? Well, um, I'm not much of a tourbillon fan, to tell you the truth, but I mean, it's a nice piece. Um, and a fusee and chain. Boy, yeah, I like the fusee and chain. I've been tempted to get a pocket watch with one. The I think Longa Unsunda made one at one time. I thought they sort of stopped making it. I live in TikTok lane. Yeah. That's right. TikTok's right outside. Hey Brian, how you doing? Goldfinger, good afternoon to you. John, hi John. Been both 18 degrees and 70. Oh man, South Texas. Yeah, that's that is crazy. I read today that or saw it on TV that Washington D.C. was 80. You know, we're coming out of single digits too, and that is nuts. But boy, I tell you, Texas has really taken a cake for having some nutty weather. Hi, Vladimir, how you doing? Forbin, I want to see a tourbillon operate in space. Yeah, that's where they do the best. I understand. Happy New Year to you too, Vladimir. And zero G, you bet. Hi, Don. Um, Travis, good afternoon. I guess, where we are, it's late afternoon. Other places, it's evening. So, sort of our late afternoon, evening thing. Okay. Our topic today, this again, I want to thank the rancher for providing us with our discussion. It was minus 12 Celsius. Good grief. About 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's cold. I was 10 degrees anywhere. Hey, there he is. I was just about to blame Rancher for the topic. So, anyhow, glad to see everybody. And the topic was that what new features were you going to get, this new complications or new features? And I got a new feature and didn't even know it. and this is on my new Grossman, Maritz Grossman watch. There's a little thing right here that's a pusher that when you wind it up, it's a hand wound watch, and you pull out the thing to I guess you pull it out to set it, and then you let it go, and it sort of goes in. But it has a stop second, and it does it through the gearing rather than slamming down on a wheel. And so this is my new feature, but other ones, new complications, new features. Well, I really don't have I guess a real guilloche. So that's one of the things. Our new watch set we're finishing up with Larique is going to have real guilloche. It's not hand turned, but it's real guilloche, and it looks great. The other thing is, I don't know, maybe later this year, is a Zulu hour where we're going to have retrograde hours plus 30-second retrograde minutes. So those are my two features, complications. Okay, let's see. Patel, Saturday Night Live with Clive. There you go. Three-armed hour hand. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hour hand, a three-armed hour hand. That ought to be interesting. That is really interesting, Brian. How would you compare Maurice Grossman to Urban Jurgensen? They have a different feel about them, Rancher. I mean, I like them both a lot, but I'm also glad they're different. This one runs at 18,000 semi oscillations per hour, and I think the Urban Jurgensen runs at 21,600. And let's see, this one uses small seconds, whereas my Urban Jurgensen has the centered seconds. So they're very different. They're very different watches. I put this on when I was making that video for how to regulate your watch. I put this on the time grapher, and just spot on. And I also found it's been adjusted to 5 positions. I wasn't sure whether it's 5 or 6. Apparently, I guess some say, well, if you do it for 5, it's the same as doing it for 6, but you're just doing some minor thing that really doesn't change the sort of the way everything is set up. That's okay. Larique, we have ours done at 6 positions. Others there's a little inner position they do it too. Okay. On topic, reservoir watches, retrograde minutes, jumping hour, power reserve, all built on an ETA base. Oh, that's, reservoirs. There's some very good watches on ETA basis. That's one of them, I think, Travis. Hey, Vladimir, Maurice Grossman is amazing. Thank you very much. I love it. It's called hacking. Well, see, Vladimir, this is the thing. I don't like hacking because essentially this is a sense of hacking. It's also called a stop second. Hacking is if you have it's like a wheel on a stagecoach. A big clamp comes down on the balance wheel. I don't like that. Engineers told the head of Patek Philippe years ago so that's not a good thing for your movement. And so for a long time, Patek Philippe never had the stop seconds. FP Journe still doesn't have it. A number of companies don't have stop seconds for that reason. So this one has the stop seconds or hacking, but it does it with some kind of gearing that stops it somehow. I'm not sure how it works, but all I know is that in order to do it, so you wind up the watch and everything holds still until you hit the pusher, and then it starts up again. So I mean, for setting, for those who want to synchronize their watches, this one's all set for that. Patek, nope. The log drainer can rub the mug until the place disappears, but I'm not coming. Well, what was that about? That sort of looks interesting. All right, when you press the button to not damage the movement, exactly. Hi, CT Davis. How you doing, man? Great choice, chefs. I love my reservoir Timon Typhus Master. We got there. You have a what are they called? Testimonial to reservoirs. You know, everyone I've talked to who has a reservoir likes them, so they must be pretty good. What's worse, hacking or hawking? Different things for most of us. Hey, Jonathan, do you think I have an edgy face? Jonathan, I'm not sure what your face looks like, Jonathan, whether it's edgy or not. Hi, Rohit. How you doing? Hi, Al. If I'm here, it means the show is almost over. Hey, David, Paddock still doesn't have hacking seconds. Oh, they don't? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I thought they did. I thought they reintroduced it. Hey, Forbin, hacking equals shoving a stick in a bicycle wheel. I wish it were that. It's more like taking sandpaper and grabbing the wheel to stop it. Hey, Patel, do you think it's good for Longa to stop the tourbillon like the stop seconds on a Porlamette? I don't know how Porlamette does. I think the Fusil and chain is a very good mechanism for constant force. That's my understanding of it. But it usually adds a lot of size to the watch. That was the downside, and that's why they were more likely to be found on a pocket watch than on a wristwatch. Higgy, okay. When you pull the crown one step, the movement stops, and when you release it, the force of the spring returns to the original position. It's sort of weird. It's sort of different, Vladimir. It does something like that. You pull it out and it pops back. And then you set it, and then it's all set to go. And then when you push the pusher, that's when it pops back into. That's when it's in the back in the gear again, I guess. Really interesting thing. Hey, John, let's see. The rug has been mugged. Okay. Hey, Tim. The new phenomena, the new pleasure I'm really looking forward to is silicone hairsprings. That's, as I said, Back to the Future. Pretty soon you'll be able to get a quartz watch. Quartzes, silicon and oxygen. What's your favorite Longa? I think it's a Longa 1, but I'm not sure if that's the right one. I don't, it's funny. I'm not that familiar with everything with Longa. I know that a lot of people like the Zeitwerk and some of those like those, but I'm not knowledgeable enough about them. I think one of the things that put me off on it, I had a friend who was German and who was all he could talk about was Langenheim, and at some point he felt that Richemont sort of took away a lot of their fire. I'll put it that way. In other words, like, we're going to make you guys more practical so that we can sell more watches rather than having this innovation and spending money on it. Something like that. He got really upset with him. So after that, I said, it's sort of the same way I feel about Lang and Heim. I really love those things that Marco Lang did, and they're the best ones that they still have. But I was very disappointed to see him leave. Victron Emile Piguet was actually the man behind most of the Paddock movement. Oh, okay. Interesting to know. Hey, Forbin, please, no recycled Archie references here. Good point. I'm for that. Write some new material, you dolls. You dolts. Okay. Hey, Truman. Oh, how you doing, man? Why is it so difficult to include hacking seconds and yeah, they don't have hacking seconds either. I I think I don't I mean, what are you going to use? Here you are, you're doing all of this thing to get things synchronized. Um, you can use your iPhone or your mobile phone or your computer. There's about 50,000 different ways that you can get pinpoint accuracy when you need it. Um, I don't, some people think, oh, this is World War One, and we got to synchronize our watches so that that will be able to go over the top. I don't know. I guess if it's important to you. Something I think that probably, and this may sound strange coming from me, but probably I think is a more robust way to get what hacking seconds promise to get is a um, chronograph. You want to time something, use your old chronograph. That's, we already, boom, use a chronograph. But hacking seconds is, I don't know. I know the OCDs want it, and that's understandable, but I don't know about everybody else. Does the fact that the rancher spooked the heck out of Larique have a negative impact on the secondary market of your position with the? I don't know. How did rancher spook Larique? I don't think he has. It was just unless it's part of a general spook. No, no, he's been a great guy to have around. Man cannot stop time. Time stops man. Man, that's an interesting thing. What is that? I love platitudes. I'm gonna collect them, have them all over. Okay, Corbin. Wait a minute. Sure, man invented time. So yeah, we can stop time. Who was it? I mentioned this a little while ago. It's Man and Free Will. Who did that book? That was such an interesting in terms of the whole concept of time. Is time merely movement, or is movement really time, or all kinds of things like that? I'll have to go read. I've been meaning to read Hawking's A Short History of Time. That's sort of the short attention span uh, time version of it. Okay, let's get back to the main question. What features or complications would you like in a watch this coming year? That's true. Rancher's right. Nicholas Wiederreck really likes Rancher. Everybody likes Rancher. The Swiss invented time to sell watches. Well, actually, it was the English, but I'll go with it. I'll go with that. I think that the Swiss supported time. It used to be at one time that was the place, with Harrison and all of those. They when they were trying to create a chronometer, and I think it was like John Harrison was the first. He won the prize for the marine chronometer. I know someone will say, "Well, wait, wasn't it, Joe Blow or somebody like that?" I think it was John Harrison. Okay, well, let's talk about what um, what some features that you'd like in a watch. Hi, Al. If time is a linear record, why does it cycle? That's a good question. That's a wonderful question. Did he do it before or after he was in the Beatles? I think it was before, way before. He was rich before that other John was in the Beatles. He didn't have a nickel or tuppence, I should say. Ooh, Swiss was China for the English at that time. Jeez, I don't know how that happened. Okay, come on, guys. We're supposed to be coming up with things. Don't you want anything, innovative, some feature that you'd like to have in a watch or some complication that you don't have? Oh, good. Foreman's going to help us out. It only appears linear because you can never see. Ah, rats. There it is again. Oh, see what you did, Vladimir? Foreman, GMT. Okay, there you go. Have a nice GMT. Mechanical GMT. They're the best kind. Ah, you know what? Another thing I'd like every year I'd like it again, but somehow I can never get it, and that's uh Remontoir Egalite. Boy, I would love to have one of those. Looking for a movement that stack on top of each other to save time. Oh man. Oh, yeah, there you go. Hey, David. I like the watches with the date, so I'd love a perpetual calendar or even an annual calendar. Yeah, it's really funny. I can understand that. There's a Vacheron Constantin triple calendar that I really like it a lot, and they have some good buys on the pre-owned market. But I have trouble. I was just trying to do that before we started. I was setting a time on this. It's off a day, and so I was going to set the time, and I couldn't do it. So I thought, oh no, I'll have to figure this one out. I got everything all goofed up. Oh, wait a minute, like that. Anyway, all right. What else you got? Honestly, seeing the winding barrel is rare. I love seeing physically how wound the spring is. Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, that would be interesting. A good. There are some. This has got a very very strange back. It's lopsided, and that's because the movement moves up in this area, but somehow they sort of made it this big instead of trying to make an oblong uh, sapphire glass. They thought, well, we'll just go with a round one and have this on it. Some kind of automation. Jesus. Listen, I'll tell you, you take a look at, find your way to, what is it called? Pornhub or something like that. Okay. Vladimir, constant force. I agree. Hello, Mr. Grumby. All the money is on Larique. I can't afford anything else. It's sort of the same with me too. But I've got, except with this, I couldn't pass up a deal this good. So, but you're right. That is where my money's tied up. Likely wound one by Alanga. Maybe a key wound watch. Yeah, now that I would like. I would really like to have one by that French kid who makes these incredible watches with a key wound. It's funny. I said this a lot of times, but if you have George Daniels' book, the what's it called, Watchmaking. If you have that book, and you really get into it, you find out that he thinks that key wound is a way to go. And he had something about the fact somebody had complained, well, you lose a key. And he said, well, if you lose keys, you shouldn't have a watch at all. I thought it was really funny. None of the watches are in that book apparently have the keyless works in it. And I think that's what Daniels didn't like. He said, well, you take out the keyless works and you can really see a lot more of the movements. And he's got a point. He really does. The one of the few watches that seems to reveal everything in a really cool way without. I don't remember seeing the keyless works. Is the Langenheim Georg. Boy, that's a love that watch. 31-day reserve, if I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, there was something like that. That's Vladimir. I'm going to catch so much crap for this, but I'm trying to get an homage to the. Yeah, no. That's a neat thing. I mean, essentially, our faux baguette is exactly the same thing. We could call it an homage to the Breguet Classique. $87, thank you very much. With the Breguet hands, the Breguet numbers, and an enamel dial. This watch is the next time I see my grandson, I got to see him. I saw his older brother, and he. It's really funny. Of that two, one wants a watch, one doesn't. Most of the kids, this is like wearing something very strange, apparently. Especially if your grandpa made it for you, it becomes dubious. But this thing keeps watch regulation. That is such a fun thing to do, and it saves a trip to the watchmaker. Okay. I think that's a neat thing, a DeFore Simplicity homage. You know, see, a 37 millimeter, you'd need something other than 6498, because those will probably require at least a 40, if not a 41 millimeter case on those. Whoa. Called the Longa 31 with 46 millimeter case and 744-hour power reserve. Wow. Does it have Roman numerals? I don't think so. It doesn't? Yeah, it does. Doesn't the 437 have Roman numerals? I thought it did. Maybe not. 42 to 43 for 61i. Mine, I got a 41. This one, there was a 41 millimeter case I got for 6498 clone. It fits. You can see how well it fits. It fits like a glove. There's not a whole lot of loosey goosey room in this watch. But the one that I found, it was at an AliExpress delight. They had that one, and they had one that would fit with that. If you give a kid a watch nowadays, you might as well give him a dial telephone. Yeah. The only thing I guess a kid would want would be a smartwatch. And my wife has a smartwatch, a smartphone, all of that. Her phone, if she's in it, somehow it works. If she's away from her iPhone and she gets a call, she can answer it somehow on her watch, like Dick Tracy used to do. It's crazy. It really is. Okay, so what are some other things? You guys have really actually come up with some good ideas on this, on some new things. Mark, I got a new wristwatch. You got a brand new key. Oh my God. Oh, Melanie, yeah. Don't go very far, but what is it? I don't go very fast, but I go very far. Whoa. Okay, Mark. Enough of that. If you get, let's see now. Where are we? Hello, operator. Get me Cleveland 549. Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. Back in the old days, there was one family phone, and sometimes it was on a party line. It's just wild. Anyway, does a smartwatch make them kids? I don't know. They can't use an analog watch anymore. I know that. Fabrique Constant Slimline with the oscillation plate inverted by Zenith. Frederic Constant with a line with the oscillation plate inverted by Zenith is a nice complication. It's an interesting one, but what Frederic Constant's owned by Citizen Watches, I thought. Okie doke, it's frying pan time. I got a time for me to get going. Let me take this one lesson from Forbin. Do you use some sort of display stand to put the watch on your desk so that you can see it without wearing it? Is there some? Yeah, I got some of those. In fact, I have one. I dug this one up because I wanted to some watches that I decided to sell. I was going to take a picture of them, and I have this thing. But I have those little plastic jewelers things, but I don't use them too much. Most of the time, when I'm not wearing a watch, it's in one of my watch cases. Big bosses used to have 2 phones on their desk. Yeah. The other part of it was too, Lamari, is that they didn't have computers. That was the big thing. If you were a big muckety-muck, you didn't have a computer. I don't know. There's no executive that doesn't have at least a laptop on his desk. Okay, guys, got to go. All right, one last thing from Mr. Magoo. A complication, a watch. All my watches have been stolen. Oh my God, Mr. Magoo. I hate burglars with a passion. I don't blame you. I used to think that when I was in college, we used to have a terrible bicycle theft. People would come and steal everybody's bicycles, and I was all for the death penalty of 5 years in the electric chair. Really mad that somebody busted in and steal my watches. Mr. Magoo, you're the second guy this week who had a really terrible burglary, and just it was awful. Anyway, got to run, guys. Thanks, Rancher. Thanks for both the frying pan time and also the topic. And some of you I know I'll see tomorrow with other stuff. In the meantime, take care.